Hey guys, I guess for about 4 years now I've been making jewelry out of my self-built towable jewelry shop. I guess I used to have a large jewelry factory in the Virgin Islands where I had about 27 to 38 employees, and we were shipping about 400 to 600 pieces of jewelry every single day out of a 3,000 square foot shop. It got to a point where I got tired, of all the employees and the rush and having to get things done right away, and I wanted to do things more slowly, maybe travel, see the world a little bit, and but still be able to make jewelry for my livelihood, because I gotta work and travel. So I built this 11-foot enclosed trailer. And built a little jewelry shop, and then I travel in my motorhome here and I just tow it. I've actually had the privilege of seeing a few other tours of other jewelry shops and large factories. Because I was a large shop, I got a private tour of Rio Grande's factory in Albuquerque, which is one of the largest in America, and it's really hard to get a tour in there. They literally won't show you their casting room, but they will show you, their shop. And I had the privilege of seeing one of Bogart's factories, shops, when I was in the Virgin Islands with my shop. And I also had the rare privilege of seeing one of Hampton's watch factories, which was right next to my shop, and Fantasy Diamonds jewelry casting factory was right next to my shop. So I had a tour of quite a few other shops. And, a lot of shops won't let you see their shops, and inside they have literally millions of dollars invested in their process, and the tools they use and the supplies they use is kind of like top secret. It's pretty funny. When I opened my shop in the Virgin Islands, the owner of Fantasy Diamonds flew in from New York, and he was on the islands, and he came over and he was looking at my shop that I was building, and he shook hands and says, "Oh, let's be friends." And the next day, he was building a fence between my shop and his shop. There's a lot of secrecy in it. But I do get a lot of questions about, oh, can I see your shop? Because, there are people that I run into on Facebook and I run into in the campgrounds that actually work and travel. And I've actually met some silversmiths that build shops, and they have their little towable shops too. And so I thought today I was going to give you that very rare privilege of seeing my shop that I've literally, if I think back, I've been making jewelry out of here for about 4 years. I think maybe 5 people have seen the inside of my shop. It's not something I even want people to see, when I'm traveling. I don't really want them to know what I'm doing. Hey, you guys want to see the inside of my shop? Okay, well, come on inside, I'll show you. Okay, so here's a shot of the front of my shop. I got my window, and I can open up the little awning and have a little light come in. The great thing about silversmiths and jewelry designers and stuff, you've got to be, they're not only that, but you've got to be able to weld, and you've got to be able to build a shop. You got to do plumbing and electrical, and you got to be able to, your artists are more than just an artist. I mean, you got to build the whole thing and put it all together and then keep it all running. And a lot of tools in the jewelry business are super expensive. And so, knowing how to weld and build stuff is definitely an asset. So today, as well as showing you my inside, I'm showing you a rare inside look at some of the tools that I've made in order to downscale. I mean, I have bigger tools that I had in my jewelry factory that are now in storage. I have a 30-foot storage container full of tools. But these are the tools that I found that I want with me in a small space. So these are some of the tools I had to custom make in order to fit in this space. So up here I have my handmade, custom built water blasting cabinet out of stainless steel, and just a 1500 psi pressure washer that you can get anywhere. I have my radio up here. I've got my ring stretcher, which you definitely wanted my ring stretcher with me, and a ring cutter. I have my vulcanizer for mold making, for making molds. Like here's a rubber mold, so you need to heat it up. So I got that with me so I can make my molds while I'm not traveling. I also have 3, they're called Gyrox tumblers up here that I actually have filled with porcelain. I also have my investing scale up here. As far as inside, this is great. I have my Snap-on toolbox with me. This is a lot of tongue weight for this trailer, but because I'm towing it with my 32,000-pound motorhome, it can handle the weight because it has airbags and stuff. But I don't necessarily recommend putting a heavy toolbox on the front on your tongue weight. But inside here, I have basically my masters over here. I've got some blades and templates and stuff for designing, and my sharpening stone, plus also my thermocouple for checking temperatures. I also have basic tools in here. These are pliers and stuff. This is full of more or less mechanicking tools in case I break down. I got my wrenches and my sockets. And in here is my actual jewelry that I'm working on, my silver. And in here is a lot more silver that's in process. The bottom drawer is the heavy stuff with my findings. I've got an engraver down here and all my silver stuff, as well as some diagnostic tools. And here I have some stones and more jewelry tools in here. So some of it, half of the toolbox is for jewelry, and half of it's more mechanic tools for breaking down and building stuff. And in here is more or less my wax tools. Over on, let's see, what do I have over here? I also, yeah, I've got my flask holder for when I'm in the ovens to hold my flask, because these flasks will be at 1,000 degrees when I'm casting. So you want to have my tongs with me. I also have some wire cutters down here. Over here, I got my, this is a big, my big vacuum pump. I don't really use the 5 CFM smaller vacuum pumps. This is a 15 CFM Bosch one. Just because you really need to be able to pull the vacuum out. I highly recommend. Yeah, they're super expensive. They're like, this one is about $2,000, but it's highly recommended for really getting the air out of stuff. Over here is my actual. This is a full-out casting manufacturing facility in an 11-foot trailer. I actually have my casting machine with me. This isn't the machine I would use with my big shop, because with my big shop, I had a NewTek JZB big one that ran off 60 amps. Obviously, when you're in a trailer like this and you're staying in campgrounds and national parks, the most you're going to be able to get is a 50 amp 220 plug, if that, and most of them are like 30 amps. When I'm casting, I actually need to be plugged into a 50 amp plug because this is actually 220 volts, so some of the stuff in here is commercial, but this one, because it's really just like a 15 amp machine, I can actually cast in here as long as I've got a 50 amp RV plug. So I've got my casting machine. It's screwed down, bolted on a handmade stainless steel cabinet. I've got my argon bottle over here, and it's really secure, dropped into the cabinet. It's going nowhere. And my little block over here. So that's what I have over on this side. Welcome to my silversmithing bench. Everybody needs to have this, and this is definitely a must-have in your portable shop. This one, because I like to make stuff, I actually built this one. This one's out of more or less mahogany and some oak down here, full drawers with your drop-down bench. So when you're working, this is your workspace, and the silver will go down here. I like to have 2 flex shafts, Dremel tools with all the attachments over here. I've got my mini torch for soldering right here, and you know and your basic pickle for getting, you know, after you've soldered. I like to have the two. This one is more or less set up as a hammer and bigger tools, and this is more of the quick disconnect one with the that I like that bends and flexes. I have a all of my tools are in here for, you know, all your pliers. I got tons of pliers and basically everything you need for silversmithing, and all your little hammers, benches, Dremels. I got some stone setting burrs, you know, all of your engravers and little hammers. I also have all of your burrs and for setting diamonds, which I don't do a lot of. And I also have, you know, your saw, your little hand saws, and all of your little tools. Over here, back here, I have my Magna block for, and I set that here for stone work. Up here is the 3-bulb light. Definitely 3 bulbs. Yeah, they're pricey, but it's definitely something I want in my shop, so I brought that. Remember, I'm in a little tiny shop, and so weight is everything, and what you decide to bring is everything. I actually broke my axle in Virginia while traveling the back roads because I was too heavy, and so when I came back to Florida, I offloaded a lot of heavy stuff, including my big, huge rolling mill. I had an electric rolling mill in here that weighed 500 pounds, and I tried to cut back even more. So these are the tools that I still like to have. Okay, over here in this section is my wet area. I got my sink. Every shop has to have a sink. You're washing stuff down, you need water. So I have a nice solid surface countertop, which I built, and these little cabinets that I just made basically out of some oak and some plywood, so I would have painted it black. I have, in this area, I have a little tiny ultrasonic that I brought with me. Obviously I can't bring my big one with me, so that one sits in storage. It's all about space, so I have a little one, and instead of my big investment machine, you know, which is actually a vacuum over vacuum one, more production style, and of course it took way too much power and took up a lot of space. I'm using just a regular KitchenAid one, and I can do about 3 flasks at a time with this one, and it doesn't take up any space or weight. I also have a little tiny magnetic instead of my big one, because it takes up less space. Every little space counts. And I have my little pickle pot for mixing liver of sulfur over here. I also have a handmade custom investing machine because obviously my other one was huge and took up too much space. So I made this little tiny one. The only thing I really bought was the bell jar, which holds about 3 flasks in here. And it's on I basically made this for free. I have it's on a vibratory. You can just flow the switch, and it vibrates, and it will get all the bubbles out of your investment and plaster mixes. So I actually just made this one myself. It's pretty cool. Maybe one day I'll show you how I made that. And that is basically the wet area. All right, so down here in my storage is some of the things that I need. I have my little pitchers for investing and measuring water. Everything needs to be measured. I also have my stainless steel shot tumbler here, which I actually custom made these barrels. I actually made different tops for them. I don't know if you've seen these before. They usually have a pretty, really bad lid system on them that always falls off when you're trying to run your stainless steel, and all the shot and your pieces go all over the floor. So I custom made this plexiglass one with a piece of plumber's, 4-inch plastic PVC pipe and a compression fitting for a 4-inch. And now I've got a really good roller. So there's another handmade tumbler system that I use. So here's a sneak peek at my custom-made stainless steel shot tumbler that I made just for my tiny trailer. I also have my tumbling media down here that I use, kept down in here, and my soaps and everything for wet. And over here, I've got some wax and other just measuring. I've got some wax tools in here, and down here I actually keep my steamer, which is rather large. I didn't really want to buy a smaller one, so I do bring my steamer, which I don't actually use that much, because if you use it in a small space like this, it fills it up with moisture and it rusts all my tools. So I really actually don't steam a lot. I pretty much use my tumblers anyhow, and the tumblers will pretty much clean everything. Okay, what I've done on this is I put some shelving up on top just to keep my my polishing wheels and grinding wheels and sandpaper and all my little knickknacks. And then I just built a little shelf system, little countertop going all like a U-shaped countertop here, and I store stuff underneath. What I've chosen to bring with me in my travels is I had to have my Genie, my Diamond Pacific Genie, which is actually a diamond wheel machine. I can put all my little diamond wheels on here, and I can do cabs and grind stones to actually make my own stones and cabs out of jaspers and black onyx and tiger eye, or I like Larimar. But any of your semi-precious stones, I can grind them on here. But I also use it for silver, and this is more of a wet dry system. I love this thing. It's great. It makes it possible to hand make your own jewelry and actually do your own stones. Like, I could be hiking on a trail. I was in Moab, and I ran across some dinosaur bone, and I picked it up in the raw, and I brought it back here, and I was making and polishing up dinosaur bone, and it's super cool. So it's good to have this. It does take up a lot of space. I wish it was just one-sided, because I really don't need both sides. I've thought about making it a one-sided machine. Down here is my casting oven, which is all electric. I love my gas ovens. They really do burn out better, but obviously I don't have space for a 1,500-pound casting big gas oven. So I bought this little one to bring with me. Just for traveling, I got this little oven. And it's okay. I don't really like electric ovens. I like the gas ones. The electric ones. But it does the job, and it's actually works rather decent. It takes a while to figure them out. And I keep my flasks down here. On this underneath here, I have my tumblers. Here's my tumbler for tumbling, and then I also down here I have my handmade my silent air compressor that I built. If you haven't seen the video on how to make your own silent air compressor, these silent air compressors are about $2,000, and I did a video on how to make one for free, and you can just scroll down and watch the video on how to make that for your shop. Up here, I keep my investment down here. Over here is my polishing wheel, and this actually, the cabinet, I like to make my own. I do have the ones that you buy. They're metal. They're rather expensive, but I like this one with my lighting system. I actually handmade this out of plexiglass because you can get a lot more light with them, and they actually last a lot better. I built a little box up here to hold all my tools, so it's really cool. If you like my little box, maybe I'll do a video on how to make your box. But I like the bigger motors. So that's what I have over here. I also have my little rolling mill down here, It's my hand rolling mill because, like I said, I got rid of my electric one. And I put my electric one back in storage. So I got my hand one here. Okay guys, over here is my wax area, which I probably keep it covered when I'm polishing. I keep my, on this section I have my extra polishing wheels over here, and my little, everything I need for grinding and polishing. And then over here is my wax section. I like to keep my my tree holder over here. This is for building my little trees. My wax pen over here, and I have my digital wax pen for modeling. I also have my pretty high tech, you know, vacuum wax injector, automatic. It does it all automatic. I had to have this. I didn't really want to bring my manual wax pot. Maybe for backups, I keep my wax, a backup one, a little cheapy manual one in the motorhome. But the one I want to use is my good one. You know, it's automatic, it's great, it's all digital. So here's some waxes I'm working on. You know, and this machine's designed to really do high quality waxes for jewelry, high-end manufacturing, casting capabilities. And so I have, and then down here, underneath it, I have a little 12-inch section for some boxes. I've got, over here, I've got basically my mold frames for doing my vulcanized molds right here. My frame, and then I have the polishing and sandpaper and all of my just basic consumables that I use in the process. So that's this section over here. Well, I hope you liked this very rare video, tiny jewelry shop video tour. And, you know, if you liked it, hit the like button and subscribe for future videos.